care about your safety. See that marathon training still coming through. Are we ready? Yeah, like,
Oh, we're still not.
cameras are on.
Red lights are on.
Are we going?
This is live.
We do like to consider those opportunities.
All right, let's get started. So it's like 12:02. So this is the Findlay City Council Planning and Zoning Committee meeting, November 13th. So with us today, we have Dan DeArmond, Dennis Hellman,
Yes, sir.
Jim Niemeyer, Grant Russell. Brian Bowman is absent. So we have Eric, Matt, and Jacob. Very good. Okay, so we got two items. So 300 West Front Street zoning and farm animals. So let's start with this 300 West Front zoning.
All right. So this request is located on the north side of West Front Street at the intersection with Southwest Street. This parcel is zoned R3 small lot residential. To the north and west is a neighborhood of R3 small lot residential. To the south and east there is zoned C3 downtown commercial. Parcel is not located within the 100-year floodplain, and the City of Findlay Land Use Plan designated the parcel as single-family small lot. Parcel history: the building was originally was a funeral home, but has housed several office uses up until around about 2008. Looking through the Polk directories at the history of the site, after about 2008, it was listed as kind of a triplex, duplex. However, it's been mostly vacant for the past several years. So our staff analysis, looking at the land use plan designating the lot as small lot residential, we were concerned about the change going against the land use plan as adopted. Although the land use plan is only one of our guiding criteria, deviation from the plan is generally done under unique circumstances. We were concerned about the increase of traffic, intensity of use, and extending that commercial district westward into the neighborhood. So our staff report had initially recommended denial of the rezone request. During the meeting, the applicant provided us kind of a brochure of like what they're looking to do with the building. I'll let them speak more on it, but they provided a kind of a plan on turning it into a kind of a boutique distillery with renovation plans included and some nice renderings of what the building would look like. So kind of with that information, City Planning Commission staff felt more comfortable with the idea of the site being reused as a commercial C3 district parcel. So they actually recommended approval of the application for zoning amendment.
I'd like to add there was a decent amount of discussion. You know, when you're reviewing a rezoning, and I know Grant would go here in just a second, you're looking at all the potential uses. An applicant can come up and say, we want to do this. They're not tied to that in any way, and we can't put a condition on a rezoning that they do that upon rezoning. So we read through the C3 downtown business district, what is permitted and what is not. I figure I'll do the same thing for you guys. So within the C3 district, what is permitted is professional services, libraries, restaurants, antique shops, bakeries, bookstores, bars, taverns, nightclubs, coffee shops, convenience stores, craft supplies, dance studios, daycare, dry cleaners, flower shop, ice cream shops, health services, beauty salon, barber shop, veterinary clinic, accessory uses, taxi service, retail trade, motel, hotel, cinema, theater, financial institutions, parking lots, entertainment uses, government uses, conditional uses, in the C3 district are residential uses, automotive sales, electric vehicle charging, and any other use not listed above. The discussion was had that the boutique distillery does not meet any of those criteria perfectly, so it would be a conditional use. So if approved for the rezoning, and they did move forward with their plan, it would go back to City Planning Commission for a conditional use review. So, as I mentioned, Planning Commission did vote to approve. Upon reading the list of items, they felt comfortable with the rezoning. Of note, this property has been dealt with at times with the Downtown Design Review Board for maintenance issues. And when I was out there several times, the neighbors were complained about the property a decent amount and were hoping for some change in the property because it sounds like it's been vacant for 5-10 years, maybe potentially. So that's kind of where we're at. Yeah.
Do you think that the reason that the property has been vacant for 5 or 10 years, whatever it's been, is related to the zoning issue or the size of the building, or what's the issue? The price or what?
I don't think there's any zoning or city rule or anything like that. I mean, it's been set up for a duplex or triplex, and it could operate in that way.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I can add to that it's a typical MO of the owner, the current owner. His properties sit pretty vacant for the most part, and we have quite a few issues with the current owner at other properties as well.
Well,
Thank you.
that was one of who's requesting. Is that the current owner's requesting this?
With the sale with the buyer.
Potential buyers.
Yes, they're
So
the potential buyers.
So not the current owner.
Nope.
Grant, the owner requested it on the application, and supplied some materials to say that the applicant is seeking the zoning change. So we have Rosie was on the application.
The current owner, specifically with 116 3rd Street, is not what I would call a owner who is in good standing would be a good way to put it. And I wouldn't want to extend to that current owner any kind of leeway because they haven't proven capable of they haven't earned that trust. And so I'm not so I wonder, work me through. So if there's a sale that's contingent on this, so the sale is contingent on this rezone?
Correct.
Can we hear from the potential buyers or the client that's asking for this?
Yep, go ahead. Just give us a summary of what your plans are.
Gentlemen, good afternoon. Real quickly, we're obviously not representatives of the Rossi Enterprises. My name's Sam Gailey. It's my wife, Carrie Conning. Sam Brown, our real estate agent. So we've entered into a purchase agreement with Rossi to purchase a place, and the first contingency for that is the rezoning, as we wish to open a micro distillery that would be located in the back portion of the building, and then up front have a tasting room with a tasting room / cocktail lounge. It's going to be low volume. The intent is not open every day, not open till 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how familiar you are with the distillery industry, but a lot of these smaller craft distillers, they're open Friday and Saturday. You get paid tours. That's one of the ways to generate revenue. So that would be on Saturdays, and then potentially be open, on nights, special occasions, maybe nights of certain production at the Performing Arts Center there across the street. So
And with the rezone to C3, there is no parking requirement in that district.
So, and also as Carrie handed out to you guys, a concept art to give a general idea of what potentially it would look like. I guess the intent is for the building.
What was the last comment again, please?
Oh, yeah, and the intent for the building, the intent is to paint it green.
What's your favorite color?
I moved on beyond this real quick. I was looking for full
Not
plan.
to add more steps to the process, but this building is located in the downtown design review district, so they would review the aesthetics of the building eventually if everything keeps moving smoothly.
Yeah, no, thank you, I was unaware.
Great.
Well, this dramatically changes my view coming into this because with Rossi Enterprises doing this, I would think they would have a high bar to get over because they haven't proven that they're good community citizens, plain and simple. And if this is an opportunity to get a piece of property out of Rossi's hands and into productive use, that changes my mentality coming in. And can we go to the picture of the zoning, the overview of the zoning? So that is what is that to the west? What's the gold?
R3. Yep.
And I'm actually familiar with this property as a friend of mine had his HVAC practice or company in the basement of this when I first moved to town, and I spent a lot of time in there with him. So I know that this building has been underutilized, not utilized for ages, and it could be spectacular. I'm wondering about the buffering on the. I mean, this is more of a site plan concern, but is there? You're extending downtown north of Front Street. Do you worry about what happens on the other side of it? Because once changed, while this applicant is got the best of intentions, it's the next applicant that you have a concern about. Or does this spur better development along that lines, do you think? I'm kind of just...
Yeah, I mean, the buffering doesn't concern me too much. One, there's not, I mean, there's very little here, very little space. There could be some buffering between the parking lot and the neighbors if needed. Yeah. Just for you, yeah.
But both, so that.
So, and then it doesn't, you know, with the Performing Arts Center here, you know, there is a shop down here, you know, to me, this is a potential opportunity, you know. So, our staff report was recommending no, but it wasn't hard and fast. I'm standing on the table yelling no. It was, let's know until we hear more. We've heard more, and we've looked at it, and it doesn't give us too much heartburn. You know, it has a parking lot already. It's been different uses over the years in this neighborhood. So it returning to one of those types of uses is not a huge change for the
Can you, given that the council's going to change in the new year, can you run me through the timeline of, so we can make a recommendation to council, but is that worth a bucket of warm spit?
So Denise, we've spoken with Denise Grant, or Denise, not the courier. If you're listening, Denise, how you doing? Denise DeVore, and the law director, and they would be putting this on the agenda
For Tuesday?
for Tuesday.
So
to
for
have its
3
first
reads?
reading. So it would have its 3 readings, and it would be done this year.
Okay.
Now, the 30-day waiting period would go into next year,
Into
but
next
that's
year.
okay.
Go ahead, Jim.
Like, the last thing in there was, won't mention the guy's name, Finley typewriter, or fix small business machines like that, typewriters, things like that. And the properties in my area, it hasn't looked bad in the past few years. Nobody's rented it. There hasn't been any apartments rented out of that. And then to the west there, I think there's at least 2 duplexes, triplex, but those have been fixed up. And, across the street, that's a nice area. And Wasboroughs have some rentals in that area. And I think it's a great idea. It's gonna look a lot nicer. I'd like to make a motion to change the zoning and get the ball rolling.
Second.
Discussion? I'll call on myself. I guess my only concern with this is you're putting a bar next to residential property. That's the only reservation I have. And it is a great project.
I wouldn't-
But,
I
pardon me?
wouldn't call it a bar,
It's a distillery with a bar. Sure it is.
a couple days a week.
It's a bar. Okay. Until business starts booming. And
Is Marathon
these just,
Center a bar? They sell alcohol.
sure. To a certain extent, but it's not next to a residential property, right? So this, and I do like the project, but that's the concern. You're putting a bar right next to, now, I will go here. I like this kind of, you know what I mean? But they're popular. You know what I mean? I'm been to many of them, and but not all of them, not yet.
It'll get its 3 readings. and-
There's that one on Front Street you haven't been to yet.
If I can add to, in its
Sure.
current state, it's uninhabitable.
Come
as
to the
an
microphone.
apartment. It's uninhabitable as an apartment.
Is it?
There's no heat, there's no walls in some places. It's pretty dilapidated inside and out. So I think that's the main reason for it being vacant and the cost to renovate. So to recreate it as a duplex or a triplex would be astronomical cost and investment.
Go ahead, Grant.
But that's Rossi's problem, right?
You have a comment? He's thinking. How many parking spaces are there in the back? Like, if you had to ballpark it, what do you?
But you don't need it because it's downtown.
How many?
Maybe 10.
Okay.
But they don't have
I
parking
understand.
requirements because it's
I
downtown,
understand.
or because they're going to that D3.
It's nice to keep parking off the streets, but it's not required. I understand.
This is more of a curiosity question. Then is the business model to distribute, or is it only serve on premise, or is it to distribute locally?
No, it also would be to sell through, so, Ohio's a control state, so it gets handled by.
Oh,
Joe
yeah,
Ford.
our
So
friends.
it would be distributed through them.
Okay.
To start off, you initially get 5 agencies, 5 stores that they will distribute your product in, and then it goes based on the demand.
Okay. So one of the 5 would be here in Finley.
Yes.
Okay.
But
Could-
there will be a bottle shop listed in there as well.
Okay.
We can sell out of the,
So by law, anyone, I think it's the A3A, so if, let's say, Nancy's, right, if they want to cover, or if they want to carry the product, we can legally sell it directly to them, and we just pay the tax through our
Okay.
our bonded area.
Okay.
I've got a question. What happens on the days that this is not open for service inside the building?
So, production will take place in the back, and potentially looking to see how the layout turns out. It would be potentially to rent space if someone wants to have a gathering and whatnot.
And if you have private parties there gathering, like you said, what kind of parking requirement would there be? I'm assuming that's going to be more than 10.
Maybe, there would have to be a limit to the size. If we were to do that, we were still with, basically business.
But the intent is, I guess, is to purchase the building, not to lease it, or
Yes.
purchase, make the improvements, and then you or your partners would operate the business?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's, Carrie's actually gone to school for distilling, so she's going to be at the distillery.
Okay.
And, yes, so full disclosure, this isn't the only contingency for purchasing the building. One is as Sammy was talking about, there are definite concerns about the quality of the roof and other things and cost. It's gonna be, this is gonna be a low volume, especially for this location and size. It's gonna be, low volume. So at what point, and we gotta crunch some numbers after we get some more estimates, is it economically viable based on the volume to pay for all the renovations? So Gary tried to get the electricity turned on, and Wood County building inspector came down and said, you are not looking up until you replace this. So we stopped right there. Now, this being a huge hurdle to get over first, is this even going to be legally viable, local, let alone state and federal? So we haven't invested any more into getting estimates. Actually, we have some lined up for tomorrow if today's meeting is going on. But
Well, I guess in full disclosure,
That's
I've got, it gives
concerning.
me a little bit of, yeah, it is concerning. But it gives me, I mean, I'm glad that you're looking into it like
Yeah.
that, but it gives me, the use gives me a little bit of heartburn, as you can imagine. And the popularity and growth of it, with on-street parking, which is, I'm sure would happen if it's a popular place. What kind of impact does that have on the abutting neighborhood? And, we're sort of here to protect that. So those kinds of things kind of eat away at you when you begin to make major changes like this in terms of use. And it's a great building, but I wish it were across the street or something,
And absolutely, we've talked about, how do we plan for catastrophic success?
Mhm.
You absolutely have to.
We wish it was across the street too, then it'd be in the Dora.
Well, there you go.
Hey, that's right.
Yeah, all right.
Door lines can be expanded also.
I guess when you said we had an option, I assumed the purchase price was negotiated and confirmed as part of this. So maybe the purchase price is, but your renovation cost is not. Okay. So we're in a position where we could be approving this, and the deal falls apart because the pro forma no longer works. And now we've got a property with a different zoning. So I don't know. Go ahead, Eric.
So one safeguard that you guys have is it does have to go through 3 readings, and it is a legislative matter that council could, at the end of it, with their upfront honesty, say that if they come to that 3rd reading, you guys can ask that question to them.
Will you know by then? So this would be
Third reading will be.
This December.
December 14th, Tuesday. You will.
We have until December 7th to renegotiate our contract, so we're trying
Oh,
to get everything finalized by that time.
Now, presenting full disclosure of where we sit with this, now my persuasive bit to the argument is, as Sammy said, turning that back to residential is going to be difficult.
mhm.
It's going to be difficult. For the size, the amount of water damage inside, no HVAC,
Holes in
everything.
floors, animals,
Yeah.
It's bad.
doors are board and shit. I mean, the roof is
So
falling
we're
in.
bailing out the owner.
No viable plumbing
It's
or
all right.
electrical, so.
But is there, I mean, now I'm just being silly, but is there any difference? I mean, why is turning it commercial so much cheaper than renovating it to residential?
The potential revenue
Okay.
of the property.
Yeah.
I mean, as commercial, you have to meet all the building codes, where residential, you do not. I think the cost of renovating the building, either commercial or residential, is big.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even know if that's pertinent. I just,
But yeah,
say
that isn't that. Well, that's nice to know. That really doesn't play into the conversation or our consideration. Our consideration is, do you want to extend the zoning benefits of D3 to this lot and mix it in with a bunch of R3? And Front Street's an interesting street with what's across with is it Shimmery Bell or something that's there's you go east on the street and you get some retail. I know Allsbrooks lives in the corner there that we're looking at right now, white and green, and half of Findlay has taken piano lessons from him over the years, and then you have a performing arts center across the street. The neighborhood is kind of transitioning, and the thing that when we zone it, if you rezone it, well, these folks have the greatest intention. It's the next folks that you always worry about. But are you going to get a productive use out of this building short of a bulldozer?
Probably not as residential. I don't think you can generate enough revenue to cover the renovation cost.
Unless you can buy it for nothing.
So one last,
Right behind
the law director was unable to be
Right.
here today.
laundromat.
But I was researching something quickly. There are instances I'd like him and I to research. I guess my recommendation would be to move forward, but in the meantime, I think there is language you can insert that potentially, if the sale does not occur, that the zoning does not occur.
Right. So put that in our motion?
No,
No?
because that needs more research.
I've never heard of that.
If I felt confident that that can be done, or if I had done that before, then I would say, yes, let's do that. But just looking in a
Okay.
quick internet search, it feels like in Ohio that could be something, a clause that can be inserted into the rezoning. And so Rob Feiner and I would have to do some more research, but that could be a possibility that we could amend at the, after the first reading or second reading.
Right. That's what I would want. I would
Uh,
want this contingent on this deal going forward.
Well, that's the old spot zoning thing, and while these folks have the best intention, 2 years down the road, you don't know what happens to their business. They get wildly successful, and this is no longer large enough, and they need to move to another spot. It's never the folks that are in front of you today. It's always the next folks which you can't trust,
Mhm.
and that is just zoning 101.
Sure, but we could mitigate some of the risk. We potentially could mitigate it with a clause specifically in the rezoning about the sale. Yes, we can never control the next person, but in this case, if the deal falls through, we could stay it a little more. We could stay at residential for a while.
But we would, based on what the applicants is saying, we'd probably know that before this gets its third reading, and take that into consideration as council makes its
Sure.
vote on its third reading.
And that's where more research
Yeah,
needs to
and we
occur.
could also amend them.
Yeah.
If we were to motion for approval today, which is and that would get the support of the majority here, and city planning has already, my understanding is his motion for a simple approval as presented, and then we put a condition on it at the after the second reading, after the second or after the third reading. Does it have to go back to city planning to
No.
approve that?
No.
Okay.
I've got a question, Matt, that you talked about there. Is this new regulation or opportunity, whatever you want to call it, relatively new in the state of Ohio, where you can make conditional?
Don't know. Like I said,
Because
I did 3 minutes of research. I
Oh,
saw
okay.
some things that were encouraging, but and this was not discussed with Planning Commission, and they felt confident. I just thought, so, I mean, to me, it's a 50-50 thing. There needs to be research.
Okay.
we
Well-
would speak with some others, reach out to some experts to find out their opinion.
Okay. Well, I like the idea. I like the building. Just gives me a heartburn, you know, and I've done urban planning for quite a few years
Sure.
in my previous life, but I think it would be a great way to approach it if we can give those kind of assurances. And sometimes this stuff ends up being like a cancerous sore. It just kind of grows, and you start out with something that is great and excellent, serves the neighborhood, serves the community well, and then all of a sudden the thing begins to deteriorate as the
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
Land use
it can never be a
progresses.
zero risk thing. You have to trust your code and move
Understand.
forward. Or
just
not.
you guys. All right.
The property behind 300 West Front on southwest, what is that zoning right? It's a closed-up laundromat. What would that zoning be?
That's R3, isn't it?
Where the arrow
Where-
is?
Show us what
Where
property.
the house is, if you pull up the house,
Okay, behind this property?
behind 300 West Front.
Right there.
Oh, the back side of it.
Yeah, it's an empty Kwanzaa hut. Is that the one you're talking
Yes.
about?
And then there's, well, the Quonset hut's sort of to the west, but then there was a coin laundromat there.
So everything's zoned residential. This is zoned C1.
Okay, that vacant lot, that was the coin laundromat.
Yeah.
This is zoned residential.
And then over there,
This is zoned C1. This is on its own little property.
What is that white building? What's in that?
no one knows.
Is that right?
It's been there
And-
since I had a paper route down there.
Okay.
I haven't seen
All right.
anybody go in and out
Let's
of it
call
in
the
10
vote.
years.
So
Hidden treasures.
the motion on the table is approval of proposed zoning to C3. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passes.
So have you personally visited all of these locations?
No, the one in Colorado, we haven't been in that far.
I don't want to say I'm familiar with it, but I'm familiar with it.
I think it's like several times. It's a great road.
Oh, that's where Ludlow is?
Yeah, it's right across the road.
Oh, so I've been wondering why we haven't had a distillery in town
Ludlow,
for
Kentucky.
ages, so I'm happy to see this. I think it would be well supported with the
I sign that,
brew
sir.
pubs and
I
that.
don't want-
So I wish you well. It'd be a
So
great
at this point,
business.
your meetings are done for the day. So it'll have its first reading on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, and then 2 readings in December. The last one in December will be the final reading. If that's approved, it would go into effect 30 days after that.
Modify that after they
Um,
research it.
And we're going to do our research on our end about the whole sale thing.
And you'll keep Matt abreast of your progress, so that if this needs to not get voted, or if this needs to not pass, we can
Understood.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Then we'll just have to work on finding you someplace else.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We've been looking for almost 2 years.
In the Dora.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Well, once again, the door can be extended.
Just stick up that sign.
Didn't hear that, but I do have a shovel. Thank you.
All right, thank you, folks.
Thank you. Good luck.
This is the best chance the current owner has.
Yeah,
Get rid of the
to do
property,
something, yeah.
please.
Good.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, next up is farm animals. You doing this one, Matt, or who's? Moo.
Before we go on to this, I just want to publicly say, Monday's meeting was really productive and informative, and I appreciate what you and the law director did on that. I came away, as you know, with a lot of notes and ideas, and I thought it was, and I'm glad we went that direction. I think it will make for a better legislation. I know that there's some folks that will never be happy with anything we do, but I thank you for the efforts.
Well, thank you. I too thought the meeting went pretty well. So we had, last time we met, you guys had kind of forwarded this on for legislation. And Grant had said one of the conditions was we have a open house question answer session. We had that last Monday, this Monday of this week. And I thought it went pretty well. It was about an hour and a half meeting. There's about 20 people in attendance. 5 or 6 of those were council members. But we let the residents kind of speak as long as they wanted to, and we just answered questions back and forth, and I thought it went pretty well. From that, there were notes and things for us to think about, and our office worked on those since Monday, and we have some kind of a few revisions to the code, and so I'll just kind of go over some of the concerns that were had. So the one change that we did make, 508.071, and this is in regards to grandfathering. The code said, the proposed ordinance said, the owner provides documentation of prior use within 90 days of the passage of this ordinance. So with feedback and discussing it with, from the citizens and discussing it with Rob Feidner, we determined that's not a helpful statement. The grandfathering of a property comes with kind of natural rights with grandfathering of any type of law. And so adding this 90-day thing, we didn't feel was appropriate. And what it comes down to is it's recommended, it's good communication, and it gets the property owner and the city on the same page, and the property owner will have documentation that says in 2026, you agreed that we had this. But in the end,
If it's challenged, it's the burden of proof is on the property owner.
correct.
So,
If in 2035 there's an issue with me and I had 2 cows,
yeah,
it's the burden of proof of me to say in October of 2026, I had 2 cows and this is where they were and this is
Right.
how it was. So
I
the
agree.
burden of, to me, so ultimately, we will encourage it. You know, we can have an article in the newspaper about why it's helpful if this passes, and we will work with property owners to document what they have. But if they choose not to, that's their choice, and the burden of proof is on them if it arises down the road.
right, agreed.
We had a nice woman show up and talk about her lovely companion pig.
Is there more discussion on grandfathering, or is
Oh,
that the only discussion? Because there was another item brought up about grandfathering.
Yeah, let's stay on grandfathering.
Okay,
So, one question with grandfathering is,
It goes with the people.
goes with the people,
goes with
not
the
the
people.
property.
And doing research, that's not,
Agreed,
it goes with the land.
right.
The example that Rob Feitner liked is I opened an auto body shop in 1954. Pre-zoning, and I run it for 20 years. I can't move that auto body shop 7 times and have the right to have that auto body shop wherever I go.
Yeah.
It's specific to that property.
Very good.
So, I mean, that's, in general, that's just general grandfathering law. Rob and I could not come up with a scenario where grandfathering moved with the actual person.
Agreed.
There might be some out there, but I don't think it has to do with kind of land use and zoning and that kind of thing. The other question about grandfathering is, I have a barn with 10 stables in it. And I can hold 10 horses wonderfully in those 10 stalls. But right now, October or November 2025, I have 3 horses or 3 animals. And we did research, and case law is very clear that grandfathering protects the use as it exists. That is protected. Does not protect potential future use. So in that case, if I have 10 stalls, it does not protect me to use all 10 stalls for 10 animals. It protects me for what I'm using it as today.
Oh, is that right? So-
Yes.
Oh, wow. So it's limited to the 3 then. Okay.
So, and then there are City of Broadview Heights versus Kroski, port limited non-conforming use to the extent of the use actually existing at the time of the zoning change.
Okay.
Bierman Realty versus my hometown of Kettering, Ohio in 1957, non-conforming rights protect only the actual use, not the anticipated or potential use.
Okay.
So, the first one was from 1995.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so it's pretty clear grandfathering is for how it is used in a snapshot of when it was adopted, not
So,
not the potential use of how many horses or
so then it
cows
kind
I
of
could
comes
hold.
down to taking inventory now.
What's that?
It kind of comes down to taking an inventory of what the current, how many horses are on the farm now, right?
But again, I go back to the burden of proof is on the property owner.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think, and Grant said it well, I think the feedback we've gotten is that the residents aren't wanting us out there counting heads and
Right.
taking tallies and
Yeah.
making a strict catalog of who has what. So,
Well, yeah, but yeah, you kind of get into this.
I got-
So I got 3 horses and then we pass this and then all of a sudden 12 horses show up, and we say, oh, you can't do that because you only had 3. And how do we know there's only 3? I don't know. I mean,
my answer would be if the problem was bad enough, they'd have to prove in court
that they had 12.
that they had 12
Okay.
in November of
Yeah,
2025.
I guess so. Yeah.
So,
I have a question for Eric. If I'm boarding horses, does that make it a commercial business on a residential property? Or is it, I mean,
Most of the ones that we have right now, if they were boarding horses, it's grandfathered in anyways, regardless if it's on a residential property or not.
oh, okay, so the boarding just comes,
It
that's a
comes,
grandfathered activity.
And the same thing, I mean, our zoning code talks about 12 months or 24 months of inactivity. It becomes non-conforming at that point. And that's
Yeah.
the point, that they have to go back through the other steps to reestablish that use. So,
All right, so even boarding is grandfathered.
it would be,
How about selling eggs? Does that make a residential property owner, if you're selling eggs, does that make it a commercial business? It's like,
I would say, if you're, there's no yes or no answer. If you're selling 100 dozen eggs a week, yes, you're a business selling eggs. If you're selling 3 dozen a week, no, and then it comes down to what it almost always comes down to is there a complaint that warrants the city looking into it?
Right.
If you have if you have 2 goats and one has a baby, you technically might not be, but it comes down to, is there a complaint? And if we get a complaint that someone's selling 2 dozen eggs a week, we're not going to say that that's a commercial business. That's
Right.
just someone living their life. So,
Yeah.
home occupations are always a tricky thing.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
It's an order of magnitude. So to summarize grandfathering, we recommend people reach out to the city and document what they have for their benefit, not for ours. The grandfathering does not travel with the person, and the grandfathering protects the use as it exists in a snapshot in time, but does not protect potential future use.
Okay.
And potential future use meaning an expansion of what they could expand
Mhm.
at the time. There was a few folks had mentioned that they viewed the 1 acre and 3 acre as somewhat arbitrary limits. And so I did a lot of research. I looked at OSU extension. I looked at other agricultural extensions, and one, they provide kind of square footage if you're using the land to feed the animal. So it's more of a how much grass can grow to feed
Yeah.
horses, etc. What's interesting is they generally, like the OSU extension, so, one of the first things it says is please refer to your local city's ordinance for the amount of space required.
Mm-hmm.
So, one, they point back to the cities, and two, I would say that there is a basic logic in that medium animals require a little less space than larger animals. I mean, you could explain to someone why a horse needs more space than a goat. So I think, one, we're very much in line with the 67 other communities that I found that have adopted ordinances. Now, if you said chickens require 10 acres, horses require 1 acre, and cows require a half an acre, I would challenge you to show me the logic. But I feel that having larger lot size for increasingly large animals follows a logical course. And I would say of the 67 that have regulations, many of them require much more land than what we're requiring. So we are giving the benefit of the doubt to the animal owner in some
Are there
ways.
some that require less?
I would say there are some that require less in the medium, in kind of like the medium range.
Okay.
I saw some that for goats it was 1 goat for every 20,000 square feet, 1
So
goat for every
half acre.
15,000 square feet.
Yeah.
But there's some that require any farm animal. If you have farm animals, you require 5 acres. You require 10 acres,
Yeah.
and that's for chickens or anything. So, and then there's 37 that just said there are no farm animals permitted within the city. End of story. So I don't feel like we are an outlier in any way. I feel like why we picked 1 acre and 3 acres follows a logical course of reasoning. So that would be my answer to. We just picked arbitrary numbers.
So are you proposing in this to stay with the 1 and 3?
Yes, I'm proposing to stay with what
Okay.
we had.
All right.
There was discussion about goats and, looking at other cities, getting feedback from those. After the meeting, I received an email, supporting regulations for farm animals. I didn't feel like I was given any clear direction on where to go with goats. So in absence of a clear direction, I thought it should remain the same. We had a woman, and then there was some discussion about what's the difference between a farm animal and a pet. And so we did add 2 definitions. These definitions are closely tied to the Ohio Revised Code or Ohio Administrative Code. So the 2 definitions that we added are companion animal or pet as defined by Ohio Revised Code 95.9.131. A companion animal includes any animal that is kept inside a residential dwelling and is dependent on humans for food and shelter, but does not include livestock or wild animals. Examples include dogs, cats, rabbits, small birds, hamsters, and similar animals customarily kept indoors. So for the woman that has a 75-pound little potbelly pig that sleeps inside 365 days a year, that is considered a companion animal or pet and is not subject to these regulations.
But that's not included in the examples, though.
It's not, but it meets all the standards. I mean,
Yeah.
it's solely dependent on her for food. I think the key statement is the animal is kept inside the residential dwelling. That is the main
But
difference
does,
in the,
but does not include wild animals. So is that pig considered a wild animal?
I wouldn't.
Not if he's kept indoors.
She didn't,
I guess not.
she didn't capture it from,
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
she didn't capture it from the oak woods or what,
The wildebeest. Yeah, okay.
And then livestock or farm animal as defined by Ohio Administrative Code. Livestock includes equine animals, cattle, sheep, goats, swine, poultry, alpacas, llamas, and other animals raised for human food, fiber, or agricultural purposes. So,
Go ahead, Jim. Did you have something?
Well, it says companion animals, and there was discussion, was it Monday? Domestic. So is this treating them the same, companion, the same as domestic?
yeah, I would say it's domestic animal is synonymous with companion animal or pet. I deferred to what are state codes and how they define it.
So that speaker's pig would be considered a companion animal. She's not consuming any byproducts of the animal.
Not yet.
So,
And it lives within her house.
and it lives within her house. Because I noticed, I was looking at this, and because it says, but does not include livestock, and then it comes down in E and says livestock or farm animal, and it specifically says swine. I mean, if you
It
look
seems
at your
contradictory.
definitions there.
The first part of it seems like it's okay, but then later on, it doesn't seem like it's okay. So,
Because my thought is that the pet that this speaker described was a swine, a pig, but it is tantamount to the same as a dog,
Sure.
and it should be included as a companion animal or a pet. But I'm reading this definition. If the law director is happy with it, I'm happy with it. But me as a novice says that her swine is considered livestock in our code.
So I would say a category of animal could be in either one. You can have a pet rabbit that lives in the house, and by that definition, it falls under a pet. If that rabbit is kept outside on a rabbit run, never goes in the house, and you're going to eat it in 6 weeks, that's livestock. So I think, some animals can be both livestock and or a pet, depending on the situation. To me, if confronted with that situation, I would say that pig sleeps inside on her bed 365 days a year. That clearly meets the definition of a pet. And a 1,000-pound pig that wallows in the mud 365 days a year is livestock and has never been in the house. So,
okay.
I'm fine.
What else you got?
there was some question about, we originally started this in the zoning code, and then a gentleman brought up that, we're moving it to the 500 section. And there were some concerns about that. Rob and I discussed it after the meeting the next day, and, most cities have it in their 500 section. And so he did not have any concerns of it being in the 500 section.
Matt, what is the 500 section? Refresh my memory. What are you talking about?
It's general, isn't it?
I think it's more of a general code of the city.
Part of the zoning ordinance?
No.
not
Oh, it's not in the zoning ordinance?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
So zoning ordinance is chapter 1100.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we started in zoning, and then we
Yeah.
switched to
And there was some
to chapter
concerns
5.
about well, the police somewhat enforce 500 more, but and Rob kind of pointed out the meeting, the farm animal items would mostly be handled, if a call came in with a complaint, it would be Eric and his staff, Officer Joe, who handles all the, they would be going out and taking a look at it, for the most part. We're not going to be dedicating police time to this, for the most part.
Which almost speaks that it should be in the zoning code. Because it's now on the administrative side. It's not in the zoning code, but you have your zoning folks doing the work.
There are
And
many things in the 500 code that Eric and his staff handle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess, Matt, while you review things there, I'd just like to say thank you for all the work you've done on this. I know it's only a page and a paragraph or two, but I'm sure there's a hell of a lot of hours that went into it and research, so thank you for what you've done.
Just
you and
researching all
your
the
staff.
different cities is
Yeah,
huge.
it is. Takes a long time.
I like it better than when we started.
Oh, yeah, we've come a long way
I
on
wonder.
this.
I wonder about 508.06, the 4-H exemption. Can I have, if it's a 4-H project, can I have a cow on my half a duplex lot?
Yes. If you have the exemption, if you provide the documentation that it's a 4-H project.
So the thought is that does the exemption end when 4-H ends?
Generally, yes. Yeah.
I'm assuming the cow gets sold.
I don't know.
I-
I'm just.
I feel good. I mean, I feel like that's an important thing to have in there. There are kids that, utilize it, and I'd like to think that 4-H would not be advocating for negative animal housing situations.
Exactly.
That is a fair point.
You have any other issues, Matt?
I think I covered most of the issues. There were several people who just did not want us to pass the ordinance, obviously, but I said that's an issue for city council.
Sure.
But I think we addressed most of the questions that we had from the meeting.
I'll entertain a motion on these recommendations. Anybody? I'll make a motion to accept these revisions to the farm animal, farm animal,
Ordinance.
ordinance.
I'll second it.
The only thing I question is the acres, but we could go round and round on this.
We could, yeah.
Like 3 acres or medium. I'd say half an acre is plenty, but I'm not in that business,
Yeah, I mean, it's, it does vary, for medium-sized, large-sized farm animals, it goes from 10,000, 20,000 square feet to 8 acres, 10 acres. It really varies by community.
I guess if I had my druthers, I would go with those communities that voted no farm animals in the city. And that's where my true belief is, to be honest with you.
Understand?
If you're in the city, you're in the city. Farm animals stay outside the city, just because of neighbors and noise and all the stuff that goes with
Sure,
it.
I mean,
But-
I've had that sentiment, we've heard a lot of people against this ordinance, and I've also spoken with people somewhat, a little bit against it, because they're just more of farm animals do not belong in the city, and that's what they would like.
Yeah.
So,
I-
in some ways, this is a middle ground. Right
There-
now, we have
yes.
nothing.
There's an old saying, or maybe it's not an old saying, but it is a saying. It says, "Don't let great get in the way of good."
I'd be disappointed if my neighbor comes home and has a cow in his backyard.
But right now, your
You too,
neighbor can
Central
have
Neighbors.
right now your neighbor can have a cow and 10 chickens.
Point well taken.
This has received 2 readings, and so we're making a recommendation.
business for 3.
This has received no reading.
No readings. Okay.
So-
What is the one that's got the? We're at
The noise and animal nuisance.
Good for you.
What were we on, what were we meeting on last night? Golly,
Loitering.
Loitering.
Loitering, yeah.
Loitering was last.
So have we had any
Sorry, I
readings on
missed
this
it.
yet?
No, so
Okay.
this will have its first reading
reading, okay.
Tuesday.
All right.
Now you are, the animal noise and nuisance
It's done.
has had two.
Oh, done.
It-
Oh,
No, I think it might be done.
I thought we proved that.
No, we've got a lot
Yeah.
of,
I thought we just finished
Yeah,
three.
that was a 5-4.
yeah.
Okay.
that's right. It was a 5-4.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? So the motion is to accept these revisions to the farm animal ordinance. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well, that can't be the motion. We're making a recommendation to council. Aren't we then recommending the council approval of this, or
Or-
am I?
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
Because we're.
Yeah, so you
we're-
revise
We're
it.
giving them, we're recommending
Okay,
adoption of this new chapter 508 in essence, so they technically haven't really seen it.
okay. So recommend adoption of the farm animal ordinance, right? Right?
It's not part of the zoning ordinance, right?
Correct. It won't, yeah, it'd be in chapter 508.
So this is the latest version. We're just recommending
Council adopted.
the council adopt it. Okay, so we recommend adoption of the farm animal ordinance. I'll make that motion. Dennis, you good with that second?
Reluctantly, yes.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. 4-0.
What is it? Don't let great be the enemy of good.
Mm-hmm.
All
Write
right.
it down.
That's not my saying.
Anything else? We good?
Eric, were you standing in line anywhere on Saturday morning?
No,
Okay.
Motion to
Aye.
adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Mr. Hellman, second. Grant?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I sign that.
Where the hell is the chairman?
I don't know, he's missing in action, boy. Like you
Well,
said,
his,
he's in
his,
love.
I erred in offering him. I erred in offering
I'm done with that.
him being excused,
Oh,
from
when he
the
didn't
last
call you?
meeting. No, yeah, because I re-looked at our meeting notices and